Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. On the channel this week, we have talked a lot about Magic's newest sets and about the things coming out. I wanted to take a little bit of a break and do a little bit more of a relaxing video for you and just hang out with those of you who call this home at Kitchen Table TCG. I keep getting people asking me for my opinions on different deck boxes and products, and I wanted to walk through with you what I have chosen to use for my own products to store my decks, to hold my cards, and then what I chose to put in our store and kind of why. So everything you see here, this is my personal things that I like, but it is also what I have chosen because I like it. I have chosen to sell it in my store. So I'm going to share with you why that is. And then if you're interested in picking any of this up, by all means, check out gamegrove.gg because chances are we store there. So first and foremost, let me get into chatting about what I store my cards in. And this is kind of what I have come to love and use, and you cannot buy this from me. So the first product I'm going to share with you is my in-case camera bag that I use as my deck bag and everything. I have found that camera suppliers do a much better job at creating products than TCG suppliers. So the back of this is actually a zippered pocket. So if you're in, to keep your stuff safe, if you're in an airport or something, nobody can get into it because this is where your back goes. And then this is all my decks. So this is what I carry all my commander decks in. I have stopped bringing this to and from the shop every day because it does get very heavy. But this is what I carry all my commander decks in. I think I even have my Pauper Elves deck is in here. I've got a couple Pauper decks, Pauper Affinity, Pauper Elves, and then all my commander decks, Slivers, Yarrick, Green Stompy. This is like secretly Eldrazi's, Alea Swords. That's one of my favorite decks. My Budget Tessa deck, the Pirate deck that you guys built on my stream, the Monkey deck that you guys built on my stream, and a new $25 budget Toggen deck, and then my Lands Matter deck that I talk about a lot. So this is what I store my decks in. This in-case binder or bag is so good. It is really, really well put together. It's just in-case Pro Pack, I think is what it's called. And it has some really good pockets as well. Sorry, it's hard to do this and hold my camera. It has some really good pockets too. You can just like throw things in here. That's like where I put my keys and my wallet sometimes. And then this pocket opens up. And this is where I have my, I don't even use tubes. Sometimes I guess I use a tube. Recently, I've just been throwing in, because it's like a nice secure thing. I just throw my what are these called? They're called playmats. My playmats in there. Check out the Secret Layer playmat. This is the one I've been rocking, everybody. Look at that thing. It's so freaking cool. It's such a good playmat. These are really cool. I forget who makes these. Oh, it's Card King Pro. These are dice bags. Check this out. I'm trying to get distro to these. They're dice bags. I'm trying to be able to get these to sell. I can't even sell these, but they're really cool. They hold a metric ton of dice. So I've got like 1/1 counter dice, minus counter dice. There's a couple spinny dice in there. These are really good. Throw that down next to me when I'm playing. It's huge. I don't know if I don't have a magic card to throw there, but so yeah, this bag is really cool. These are my draft lands, so I just use the Gamegenic. I'm a big proponent of Gamegenic stuff. I really like Gamegenic. Then it has like a laptop sleeve here on the bag. So this is the bag I use, kind of heavier. And then I have just like a North Face bag. This is what I use to throw in stuff. But yeah, let's go to deck boxes because you can't even really buy this bag anywhere. If you're going to look for this bag, my biggest advice would be to go to eBay and buy a used one because they're like $150 new. But I think I got this one used for like $40 on eBay. So I use these Gamegenic, what are these actually called? These boxes. These are Gamegenic Sidekick 100 pluses, and we sell them for about $22. I really like these, and then I use the lands, the art cards from set packs. And that's actually how I title them. These are both, I just kind of cut them and then put them out. But I really like these because they come apart. And so when you're sitting at the table, you can take they're called convertible. You can take this and, you're playing Commander and you can put it there like this and it folds up and folds in. And then you can kind of leave your deck off to the side, or sometimes I'll put my dice in there or my tokens are in there. And it just doesn't take up as much room as like the box. You can leave it open and it doesn't have to be like out like this, right? It just takes up more room. So I really like these. I like spending a little bit more money on like a sturdy deck box. You know, like most of my decks are expensive. Like this is a $300 popper foiled out popper deck, right? Like most of my decks are expensive. So spending $20 on a deck box that isn't going to get shattered when you drop it is important to me. So that's all I use for all my decks is the Gamegenic ones. I just really like them. They don't waste space. But they do protect the decks really well. So that's kind of what my go-to for deck boxes. And then sleeves, I always double sleeve. I don't care if it's a $25 budget deck or an expensive deck. I am always double sleeving my decks. I know some people who don't like double sleeves because they feel like they hurt the corners of the cards. Most of the cards I play with, I don't really care necessarily about the value. I just want them to be protected. Just to keep them in really decent condition, good condition. If like a spill were to happen, I always double sleeve my decks because you never know who's going to spill water on the table or a drink on the table. So I double sleeve. I use Perfect Fits. I really prefer using the side loaders, but recently I've started using sealable just because they do kind of protect the deck more. But the side loading ones, those are the clear ones. The side loading ones, I really like those simply because they're easier to put in the sleeve. But then I use Dragon Shield, and we have a metric ton. Look, these are the Rick and Morty ones. Those are funny. We have a metric ton of Dragon Shields in store. We just have a bunch of different options. The dual matte ones are kind of my favorite because the dual matte ones, this backing on the dual matte ones is black. So it makes the card really pop out. So if you can get matte dual sleeves, that's kind of the ideal. That's what I use, but a lot of people really like katanas, so we do stock katanas. The problem with katanas, though, is like that's about the number of colors they have. They have about 5 colors, and they're never in stock. Whereas Dragon Shield, man, I think they're as good quality, and you can always get Dragon Shield. They're always in stock, and there's nothing worse than going to like want to re-sleeve your deck and the store can't get the sleeves for you. So that's why I choose Dragon Shield. They seem like the most consistent and best quality that you can constantly get product for. So that's important. Now they did recently change the art sleeves too to do their like new brushed, lightly textured sleeves. So the old Dragon Shield, I used to tell people never to use the brushed art ones, but these ones are better. They're definitely updated. Now we do have like budget sleeves that I use, and these are like $7 for 100. And Gamegenic does make pretty good sleeves. I like these better than the Ultra Pro ones. They last a little bit longer, but I always think it's worth spending a little bit of money more to get sleeves that shuffle really well for a long time. I rarely ever have to change my, change out my sleeves due to like them sticking. They're just good. And I prefer the way they feel when they're double sleeved compared to single sleeve. So, that's kind of like the basis of what you need, right? As a TCG player, you need a bag to hold your stuff in. You need a deck box. The other thing that we use a lot of are like a trade binder. And I know not a ton of people, in my opinion, utilize trade binders anymore because of the way cards are moving. But for me, I've always, for the last 3 years, gone with what are they called? Dex protection binders. I really like that they lock, they have that kind of thing. And then here's the best part about them for me. They have this really nice, these are the Noir ones. They have a really nice like felty surface here for you when you're trading cards to put your cards on. You don't have to use, like we have nice tables in the shop, but I don't like putting things on a table simply because like you can't pick up the card as well. You're inching at the cards like that. This is like it's almost like a play mat within a binder, and I really like that. And then it also works really good to take pictures on because it's a black background, so you can really get your condition. So I use the Dex binders. That's kind of what I predominantly use. I've heard good things about the Gamegenic binders, and so we do utilize Gamegenic binders in the store as well. But the Dex binders, they're a little bit more expensive. What do we have up here? We have the Dex binders for $35. I think that's for the 12 pocket, and $30 for the 9 pocket ones. But then the Gamegenic ones are $29, but they have, those also zip up. And I know a lot of people like the zip up binders more, but to me, this does a good enough job with the little strap. and I really, really like this surface that they have here. I use this more than I use the binder probably. Whenever I'm taking a picture for a card to sell it online or something, I always use these inners. So it's a big thing for me to be able to have that. And then I think they just look good on a shelf too. Like I have all my my vintage Pokemon. I have I'm working on base set and base set 2 and the whole Wizards of the Coast line right now. And I use Dex binders to store them because I just think they do a good job. They hold the time test too. I've had this binder for probably 4 or 5 years now, and you can tell it's not even, I've had this binder for 4 or 5 years. It's getting a little bit of this kind of wear, but this is pretty good for a binder that I use daily for 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's held up pretty well to the test of time on a trade binder. So that's kind of the stuff I use. Let me know what I missed here dice wise. I really like these, these tiny ones from Chessex. We sell a ton of these tiny dice from Chessex. I really like those. That's kind of what I use for that. Let's see, what else is in this binder? I think that's it. Oh, these are another thing people overlook. These 300 count storage boxes. Ask your LGS if they can order you some of these. And have a box of 20 of these or whatever at your house. You might be able to get them pretty cheap from LGS if you can ask them to order them. Because these I use all the time just to ship things or transport cards from place to place. Don't underestimate the effective use of a cheap box. But let me know what you guys think about all the accessories. Yeah, other than that, these archives are good. The other thing we use a ton of in store is the these dungeons. They're a really great thing to use for just storing large amounts of cards or a cube or something like that. And then they have the new one, the Card Layer Pro. These do really well for us, so we use a lot of those. So have yourselves a great day. Be kind to the people around you, and let me know what you think about all the accessories in the comment section below.